Hello, I am Nirmala Chaudhary. I will teach you fund flow statement of the subject Management Accounting. Fund flow statement. Fund flow statement means what? The sources from which the fund have been derived and the application to which the fund have been utilized is called as a fund flow statement. In this video, I will explain one practical problem of this topic. Here, one practical problem has displayed. On the liability side, there is equity capital, 6% debenture, note payable, creditors, and profit and loss. Some liabilities have been provided. On the asset side, cash balance, building, goodwill, debtors, and stores and general stores. Here, adjustment also provided. During the year 2019-20, dividend was paid amounted to rupees 3000. You are required to prepare statement showing sources and application of fund means fund flow statement we had to prepare here. Here two dates, 2 years have been provided. First is 31st March 2019 and second is 31st March 2020. Okay. So small year it is the last year and it is the current year. Last year was 31st March 2019 was the last year and 31st March 2020 is the current year. On the asset side also. In this problem, in the fund flow statement, we have to prepare first statement of working capital, second profit and loss account, and third one is sources and application of fund means fund flow statement. In this topic, we have to prepare three. First statement, working capital statement. Second, profit and loss account. And third, sources and application means what? Fund flow statement we have to prepare here. Okay. And we will take the this amount also for calculating the same. First of all, we will prepare these accounts. Here, I will prepare first statement is statement of working capital. Statement of working capital. Format of working capital is here particular 4 columns are there. Sorry, there will be 4 columns. Okay, 4 columns. First is a particular. Second, 2 years have provided 31st March 2019, 31st March 2020. Next column is increase and next is decrease. Means what? In particular assets and liability we have to write down current asset and current liability. Working capital statement is prepared to show only current asset and current liability. Here you have to understand current asset increase, working capital also increase. It means it shows a positively. But current asset decrease, working capital decrease. Asset increase, working capital increase. Asset decrease, working capital decrease. The difference amount we have to write down there. But liability is different. Liability increase, working capital decrease. Liability decrease, working capital increase. Okay. Remember student. Next, we have to prepare profit and loss account. Two sides are there, profit and loss account. Then we will prepare here fund flow statement. In the same page, we will write down here fund flow statement, sources and application. Profit and loss account, it is a debit, law expenses and losses, credit, income and gains. And in the fund flow statement, it is just like as a cash account, but not actually the cash account. If the funds comes, but in the fund flow statement, we have to write two basic things. Means what? Liability increase, then sources, and liability decrease, then application. But assets are the reverse. Asset decrease, sources, asset increase, application. Okay, it is the formula format. This shows sources and this show application. Okay, got it? Fund flow statement. Sources side shows liability increase and asset decrease. And application side shows liability decrease and asset increase. Okay, we have to understand this four. On the basis of that, we have to calculate total fund flow statement. Here we will see one by one item. Here we have to identify first upon what are the current asset and what are the current liability. Cash balance is our current asset. Debtors also our current asset. General stores is our current asset. All these current assets we have to write down under the statement of working capital. Here, note payable is our current liability. Creditor is also our current liability. So, current asset and current liability we have to write down under the statement of working capital. We will write down one by one. First upon current asset here, cash balance 9,000 and 7,800. Same we will write down here. First A number, current asset. B, current liability. Okay. Under the head of current asset, we have already read it. Cash balance amount was 9,000 and 7,800. Opening amount was 9,000 and closing amount was 7,800. So, C student, under cash balance, it is our current asset. Opening amount was rupees 9,000 and closing amount was rupees 7,800. So what is the difference in between that? So difference was 1,200. But here, first upon we have to add it. In the last year, cash amount was 9,000 and in the current year, amount was 7,800. Means asset increase or decrease as per the last year? In the current year, as per the according to compared to last year, in the current year our asset has decreased. So working capital, rule of working capital says asset increase, working capital increase. Asset decrease, working capital decrease. But here amount was 9,000 and 7,000. So 9,000 7,800 difference was rupees 1,200. Asset decrease. So difference value we have to put under the column of decrease. Okay. In the next current asset was debtors. Amount was 11,800 and 14,500. Debtors 11,800 and 14,500. Okay, so same 11,800 and 17,500, the difference value of these, asset increase or decrease, it shows the asset increase. Means on the opening amount was 11,800 and it has increased up to rupees 14,500. So had that amount has increased, the rule says asset increase, working capital increase. Here asset increased by rupees 2,700. The difference in between these both, the difference has 2,700 means our asset has increased. So here write down under the column of increase. Okay. Next our current asset was general stores 49,200 and 42,700. General stores. Okay. The amount was 49,200 and current year amount 42,700. Okay, so difference value is 49,200 and 42,700. Difference value is 6,500. So compare it from 49 to 47. So amount decrease, asset decrease. So asset decrease, the working capital also decrease. So difference value we have to write down under the column of decrease. Same current asset shows positiveness, means asset increase, working capital increase, asset decrease, working capital decrease. On the liability side, these are the two our current liability, note payable and creditor. First current liability was note payable 8,200 and 8,700. Under the head of current liability, first liability note payable amount was 8,200 and 8,700. So what is the difference in between 8,200 and 8,700? Difference is 500. So but it reverse as per it reverse to the current asset. All the current liability means what? Current liability increase, working capital decrease. Reverse side. Current liability decrease, working capital increase. Okay, so here 8,200 and 8,700 difference value is 500. Here shown liability increase from rupees 500. So we have to write down the difference value under the column of decrease 500. Liability increase, working capital decrease. The next amount was creditors 5,800 and 6,300. Creditors 5,800 and 6,300. Here difference value also rupees 5,000. Same here from 5,800 to 6,300. Liability increase by rupees 5,000. Oh, sorry, 500. Liability increase, then working capital decrease. So difference value we have to write down under the column of decrease. Okay, got it? So under working capital statement, we have prepared current asset. We have prepared write down on current asset and current liability. Finally, we have to calculate all of these. Here total will be, here also the total will be. Here total of all current asset and total of all current liability. From current asset, from current asset we have to minus current liability. Here also from current asset we have to minus, to subtract the current liability. But finally the overall calculation that we required is what? Difference value, that is the working capital. I have write down under a shortcut. Working capital means what? Under the increase column only amount 2,700 and under the decrease column there is amount 1,200, 6,500, 500 and 500. Means of these two columns increase and decrease, so you have to concentrate only on these two columns increase and decrease. Which column is greater? Shows the decrease column is greater, means total amount of decrease column is 8,700. 8,700 we have to write down 8,700, but difference will be put under the column of increase. But here which column has been more? Decrease column is more, so I have to write down under the particular column decrease in working capital. And difference value we have to write down under the column of increase. Which is the balance? Decrease balance. So decrease column is greater. So decrease in working capital. So decrease in working capital. Difference value will be under the column of increase. This difference balance when we calculate, then amount will be 6,000. This amount we have to write down under the statement of fund flow statement. Okay. Next we will see one by one. All the current asset and all the current liability we have shifted to working capital statement. Here we will see one by one item. First is equity share capital. Amount is 70,000 and here amount is 74,000. So compare these two amount. In the last year our liability was 70,000 and in the current year our liability is 74,000. means how many amount you have, how much liability you have extra taken. 5,000, 4,000, difference value is 4,000, you have taken 4,000 more, so liability increase 70,000 and 40,000, the difference is 4,000, liability increase by rupees 4,000 can be shown under the fund flow statement. Here I have already displayed liability increase sources, liability decrease application, assets reverse, asset decrease sources, and asset increase application. There in the problem, equity capital opening 70,000 and closing 74,000. So 4,000 has increased as per the last year. Okay. So liability increase, it is our sources. Next, 6% redeemable debentures, same. Opening amount was 12,000 and closing amount was 6,000. So liability increase or decrease? Liability decrease by rupees. What is the difference value? 6,000. Opening 12 and closing 6. So difference value is 6,000. Liability decrease. So we have to write down under the column of application. Liability decrease. So 6% redeemable debenture amount is 6,000. Okay, got it? Next. Next, note payable creditor already you have seen. Already shifted into working capital statement. The next, profit and loss. Profit and loss, opening 4,000 and closing 5,000. Profit and loss, it is our on the liability side, so it shows our liability. What is the rule of liabilities? Opening balance. What is opening balance? Opening balance transferred to credit side and closing balance transferred to debit side. By balance under the profit and loss statement. By balance, wrote down opening balance, credit side, what is the amount? 4,000 and closing amount to balance carried down amount rupees 5,000. Liabilities, opening balance is credited and closing balance is debited. Next, on the asset side, cash balance, debtors and general store we have already written down under the working capital statement. The next is the building. Opening amount was 20,000 and closing amount was 30,000. So what is the difference value? 10,000. But asset increase or decrease? Asset increase by rupees 10,000 means in the current year we have purchased new building of rupees 10,000. Building value difference value was 10,000. Then next, goodwill. Opening amount was 10,000 and closing amount rupees 5,000. Opening 10 and closing 5. But goodwill in the 12th first year BCom, we have already seen goodwill always can be written down. Difference value always can be written down. That goodwill is our intangible asset, can be written down. So opening amount 10,000 and closing amount 5,000. So difference is 5,000 means goodwill amount had been cancelled by rupees 5,000. Goodwill is written down by rupees 5,000. So it is our loss that transferred to profit and loss account, debit side, goodwill. What is the amount? 5,000. Okay. In the next, we have already seen total balance sheet. Here, lastly, the given adjustment during the year 2019-20, dividend was paid amounted to rupees 3,000. Dividend was paid. Here, what has been provided? Dividend was paid amount to rupees 3,000. So in the 11th standard, we have already learned the journal entry. Dividend paid. Paid means dividend, it is our expenses, and 3,000 we have already paid. So what is the journal entry? Dividend account debit to cash account. So I have to post it here. Dividend account debit to cash account. So cash means fund comes or goes out. Fund goes out in the form of cash. So fund goes out. So here we have to write down dividend. Amount was 3,000, but dividend paid, it is organization's loss. So loss or expense that we have to shift it to profit and loss account, debit side to dividend. 3,000. Okay. Then next, you are required to prepare statement of working capital. So here we have already calculated under the working capital statement, decrease in working capital amount was rupees 6,000. So decrease in working capital, this balance will be shifted to fund flow statement sources side. Decrease in working capital amount was rupees, what is the amount? 6,000. Fund flow statement, decrease the decrease in working capital, then amount should be shifted to sources, and if the increase in working capital, the amount will be on the application side. Okay, so decrease in working capital amount on the debit side, on the sources side. Now we have to find out the profit and loss balance lastly. What is the amount? 13,000. 13,000. So what is the difference between 9,009, 10, 11, 13, 10, 11, 12, 13, 9,000. So by, we have to write down here last balance. We have to transfer this balance to fund flow statement. So here we have to write fund from operations. But here for our reference, it is our balance amount. It is on the credit side. So we have to shift it to this debit side. Means to the sources side. It is our credit side, so we have to shift it to sources, means debit side. Fund from operation. What is the amount? 9,000. Finally, these fund flow statements should be tally with each other. Then our practical problem will be right, and otherwise it will be wrong. 10, 16, 30, 16, 19,000. Okay, 10, 6, 6, 6 for 10, 19,000. So our practical problem is right. Okay, again, I will revise you. In the fund flow statement, we have to prepare working capital statement. All the current asset and all the current liability we have to transfer to working capital statement. Rule of working capital is what? Current asset increase, working capital also increase. Current asset decrease, working capital decrease. And liability, current liability increase, working capital decrease. Current liability decrease, working capital increase. Okay. And here we have to find out increase and decrease column. The column which is greater, that word we have to write down under the particular column. Here the decrease column was greater, so decrease column we have to write written here. Then we have prepared profit and loss account, shows expenses and losses and income and gains. And here we have prepared fund flow statement. Under the fund flow statement, we have to identify four things. We have to understand the four things: liability increase, it is a sources, liability decrease, application, asset increase, sources, and asset decrease, application. At the time of comparing the assets and liability of remaining assets and liability of the balance sheet, we have to understand these four. On the basis of that, our total practical problem has been depend. Finally, profit and loss account balance we have shifted to fund flow statement, and finally fund flow statement we have made tally. It means our problem is right. Thank you.